welcome to another mini episode.
Yeah.
Because we just have so much more to say, as always.
We do. We like recording, so we're giving you a mini episode before our fall season begins.
Yeah, we really enjoy connecting with you. We've missed you. And we have lots of great questions that we want to answer.
Yes.
So we thought we'd answer a question and then give you an LTW from our summer.
Yeah.
And then we'll see you for our fall season.
For sure.
So
before we get to our question, we wanted to talk about our Back to School Summit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have not listened to the Back to School Summit, this is for new and experienced homeschoolers.
Yes.
This will equip and inspire you to design a sustainable school year. We're going to help keep your homeschool simple, real, and fun by reframing your expectations and giving you real-life solutions based on our 20-plus years of homeschool experience.
Yes, and you are going to get 3 inspiring and really practical conversations, and you get to listen when it works for you. This is not something you have to be at any certain time. Just listen in the morning with your cup of coffee or whenever it works.
Yeah, these are basically like longer podcast, more formal, longer podcast episodes.
Yeah.
If you like listening to us, that's what this is. Along with that, you get digital printable worksheets with reflection questions, takeaways, and partner episodes.
Yes, and then we are also including for free our app school guide and our curriculum guide, which together combined, that's like a $15 value right there. And so you're just getting those for free right now along with the summit. They pair very well together. Mm-hmm. They're both great resources to start the year out with. I think you'll really appreciate this bundle.
This is our best stuff. This is everything that you need to know to get your school year started well. This is the stuff that we also use. So
Yes.
The first class is called Set Yourself Up for Success. And this is just a lot of what you need to do pre-planning your year, like seeing the value in all types of learning,
Yes.
Knowing who your kids are and knowing who you are, and just like reframing some of the things that you might have seen before as needing to be in school or not needing to be in school, or things that you're already doing. Just lots of reframing in that first class.
We talk a lot about some of our mistakes that we've made in the past too, and how it's very helpful for you to hear these things. In class 2, we talk about making your homeschool sustainable. And this is going to be great to listen to now. It's going to be great to listen to in February and maybe at the end of the year. When you are getting tired, when you feel fatigued, this is the stuff that helps keep you going. Mm-hmm. Not even just throughout this year, but throughout all the years.
Yep. And then our last class is the practical side. So this is like, when people ask, but what do you actually do for homeschool? So then we're going to get into the specifics of like how we set up our day, how we set up our space, and our favorite resources. So if you are interested in getting the Back to School Summit, you can go to homeschoolunrefined.com/summit. It's $25 for the whole thing, which we think is a great value. But if you are a Patreon member, you get $5 off. So if you're interested in joining Patreon, if you haven't done that yet and you want to get a coupon, you can do that too. You can go to patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined, and we will have that all in the show notes.
And remember, Patreon is our membership community. It's where we give you lots of extra things, episodes, content. You hear from us so much more on Patreon. Actually this fall we're adding even more to our Patreon content. So you're going to get a lot for your $5 a month over there.
For sure. All right, let's move on to our listener question.
Yes.
Our question comes from Amy. Thank you, Amy. Mm-hmm. She asks, I would love some inspiring, diverse books for teens. We have been reading a lot of diverse historical books, which we love. My kids are 12 and 15, and they have really struggled with feeling like the world is just so broken. I would love to give them some diverse books that have messages of hope and inspire to action. LGBTQ and POC perspectives are especially preferred over here. We love reading the truth about history, but I also want to inspire my kids about ways we are moving towards justice and inclusion. Thanks so much. And then she says one that she wants to recommend is Rainbow Revolutionaries, 50 LGBTQ plus people who made history. I love that book too. That's a good
really
one.
good. I'm going to look up that book.
Yeah.
Because we need more of those in our library here at our house, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is such a great question, Amy. Thank you so much for asking it. I think this is an important question right now. Reading books is a really good start to understanding people who are not like you, you know, and in our country and in our world, and in our neighborhood, in our schools, in our churches, everywhere. And so what I love about books is they just like humanize so many different people. It feels like we can connect to them. We can connect to people we would never normally connect to. And that is very powerful.
Yes. Agreed. I want to say, Amy, the reason this is a good question is because, I ask myself this all the time.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to find more diverse books. Yep. And so I want to say that this has always taken intentional effort for me. Always. Yep. You can look up book lists. The book lists online are abundant. There is no lack of book lists. But a diverse book list, especially for teens, is really hard to come by. Yeah. I think there are some, and a lot of times the same books appear on all of them.
Yes.
And so it is, go ahead.
Sometimes they're not great. Sometimes it's just, like somebody was looking for books, to make this book list and didn't, like just went one layer down, one layer down, found some books and put them on list too. I think that happens often. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it does take some intentionality, which is super unfortunate. It is so unfortunate because I think homeschool parents, have a lot of, they have a lot of work to do. And, they do a lot of intentional work to make sure their kids are getting, the best of whatever curriculum or whatever classes. This is just another way. And I would encourage everybody to do that work. I like doing that work. It's like one of my favorite things to do, but I can see like hunting down different books and like figuring out where to get them. Once you know them, you're like, do I buy this book? Should I try and get it from the library? Maybe the library doesn't even have it. I mean, it is a process and there's a lot of decisions and it takes a long time, but I would encourage you all to do that. We're going to try and make it a little easier today with some resources.
Yeah. It seems to me like it is really good work though. I mean, it is very important work right now. It seems like this might be the most important thing we do all year is find these diverse books for our kids.
Yeah.
And so it's, our kids will always learn, their math facts. I mean, they'll just learn them. It might not be this year, but I just think if we don't start having diverse books around us right now, it's just harder. I don't want to say if your kids are older and you've never done this, that you're, a lost cause. That's not the point either. That is not true. But it's just when it's infused into your life that we read books from a very diverse population, it just feels more normal and real, and that this is the way life is. This is life. And so this is, I would say, start here. This is, if you haven't done this yet, this is your year to do it. For sure.
One thing I want to say too, when you're looking for diverse books, if you're looking for a book about, let's just say, Native Americans, or you find a book about Native Americans, it should be written by somebody from that community. That's just kind of the rule. So there are a lot of books about different populations of people, different groups of people that are not written by somebody from that community. They're probably written by white people. And so you really want to, you kind of have to take it a step further and figure out who the author is and if they're a part of the community that they're writing about.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you
So true.
want to start with some resources, Maren?
Okay. Well, I will start, but you just jump in because
yes, I will. I'll jump in.
My first thought was, and this, I don't know if this will work for everybody, but what I love to do is I find one book that I really like, and I don't always love to just tell everybody about Amazon because I'm like not in love with Amazon, but I have to say their search function is really good. So I like to find a book that I really like, search it in Amazon, and it suggests so many other books that are very similar and very good. So I always want to tell people, like, go somewhere else and buy your books. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I don't always do that. Sometimes I buy my books on Amazon still. But like we have an affiliate link with bookshop.org that's a great place to buy books.
They are.
You can say more about bookshop.org, but I would just say, like, I like to use Amazon as the search function because it finds really good books.
Yeah.
For you.
You're right. I do search books on Amazon and then I go to Bookshop and I buy them there, or I go to the library and get them there, because you're right about that. The only thing I've started noticing about Amazon, maybe in the past year or two, is when you scroll down to see similar books, doesn't it say sponsored books? Like, it's now doing sponsored books that are like this book.
I think some might be sponsored, but then if you go down another level, there's more.
I feel like I'm having a far harder time finding non-sponsored, but anyway, that is a good way to do it. I like that. One of my favorite resources is The Conscious Kid. Yes. So following them on Instagram is great. They always have lots of good book selections there. But last summer, if you are a part of their Patreon community, so now this isn't like super easy to find. You have to support them on Patreon, which I think you can do for $5 a month, but it is well worth it. Last summer, they put out a huge guide to diverse books for kids of all ages. Awesome. So they had, like preschool, elementary, teen, middle teen, up to age like 18. And it was exhaustive. It was a great list, and I have used that. I have used that many times.
That's awesome.
So I love that list. I'm sorry that you have to be a patron of theirs to get it, but it's great. I used that list last fall when I bought a bunch of diverse books for my kids.
Yes.
I used that list and some other some other books.
Great.
But I have an Instagram post, which I will put a link in these show notes here to my Instagram post. You don't have to be on Instagram. You can just click it. It's from last year, and it shows all of the diverse books that I got for my teens, middle and high school, last fall. And there's probably, I don't know, 15 to 20 of them, and a lot of them came from that list from The Conscious Kid and other places, but I will put a link so you can find that.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Good. I would also say, if you live in a city, go to the city library. If you live in a suburb, go into the city. Go to the city library, because they just tend to have a lot more diverse books and just sitting out, and they're so good. I love going. I mean, I feel like actually our local library has a great diverse selection of books too. But I also just think, like, go to a library that has the diverse books, because some do and some don't. Yeah. So yeah, some are pretty intentional, but you're right. Yeah. A library, just seeing what they put out and asking a librarian is a really good idea. And librarians love it when you ask them. Yeah. Yeah. Another of my favorite resources that I just found last year is teachingoutsidethebinary.com for LGBTQ plus books. Nice. Okay, so this came from an Instagram follow, Ace. Ace is a teacher, and Ace is non-binary. And Ace puts out these lists on their blog every year. So they've had lists from, like, I think it started in, I don't know, 2018 or 2019, and then 2020, and then 2021. And they are amazing lists. This is a wealth of knowledge. They, again, have them for all ages, including teens. So I found a huge selection for my teens from Ace's work. Wow.
So thank you, Ace.
That's so great.
And I bought a bunch of those last year for my kids. So,
Thank
and
you,
they
Ace,
are
for doing all that work with us.
yeah, they are like well vetted and research. You can find like descriptions of all the books and like, you know, what generally they're about. And so, that's the best resource I've found for LGBTQ plus
great
friendly books.
Great.
Yep.
Great. Awesome.
Do you have more resources or should we move to...
Do you?
Okay.
I don't.
No, I just have some favorite authors.
Oh, actually, can I just say also though?
Yep.
I think I've talked about this. I'm sure you've all heard me talk about Scribd, but I really like Scribd for that too. When I listen to one audiobook, and Scribd is kind of like Netflix for audiobooks, right? So I will listen to one great book and it will it will recommend so many other great books too. So I'm almost starting to rely on that for how I find my next book, because they do such a good job.
Yeah, that's
finding my next book for me. And so I'm doing less work finding books.
That's great.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody does Scribd, or if anybody does another type of way to listen to audiobooks or read ebooks. I would love to hear too. I would love to hear where you find your books.
Yeah. You know, I actually have one more resource that I kind of forgot about that I used to use a lot and I haven't used in the past like year because I've gotten my books from these other sources, but We Need Diverse Books is a really great source. So they're like a website and they have lots of ideas for diverse books for all different ages and all different groups of people. I have found it takes a bit more hunting on their website to find what I'm looking for.
For older kids.
For anybody.
Okay. Yeah.
But I always find great stuff there. So again, you have to like kind of put in the work when you go to that website, but you can find lots of great stuff there.
Okay, great. All right. Yeah, I think we should move on to books. It's interesting because when I first read this question, I was like, oh, I don't know, like, can I think of any right now? I was thinking, actually, I think this is most of my books now are from diverse authors and with diverse characters. They just are. And it's probably because of all of the suggestions I'm getting. And I'm so grateful for them. They're just, it's just so awesome. I'm reading them and I'm reading them with my kids too. So, and actually now when your teens, as they get older, your book choices almost start to meld together. Like I'm
read
actually
the same things.
Yeah. I'm reading a lot of YA and probably teen and even middle grade books. I love them all.
Yeah. Yep.
And my kids are right there with me now. So, my kids are 14, 12, 12, and 10. So I would say probably my 14-year-old for sure. And my 12-year-olds are getting there. I mean, they are. So
yeah.
It's, it's becoming easier for me to like preview books or find books. In that way, it's getting a little easier for me because I actually like listening and reading these books myself.
Yeah. You're motivated because you want to read them too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just have a few authors that if I'm like, I need a diverse book, I need something by, a good author, like a really great author. I have a list of authors who I just can go to. They've written lots of books and I can just pick one and it's going to be good.
Yes.
And so I'm just going to list those. And I know, Maren, you agree with all of these.
Yes.
So
yes.
I don't know. I don't want to steal what you were going to say, but this is from both of us. Jason Reynolds has written a ton of books for middle grade and teens. Pick any one. They're great. Totally. They're all great. Ibi Zoboi, same. She's got some for older teens, and then she's got some for even middle grade. So anything by Ibi Zoboi is awesome. Jacqueline Woodson, a vast collection.
Yes.
Jacqueline's got a vast collection of books.
Yep.
You can pick any one and read them.
Also for all ages. Like there's just
for all
so
ages.
Many.
We've got like,
I mean,
for
I know
even
that,
elementary to adult.
And I would say, like the Brown Girl Dreaming.
Yeah.
It may look like a middle grade book, But Angela, I think you've said before this
might
be your
my favorite book.
So
yeah, it's for all grades.
It really is.
All ages.
And in fact, I may have started this with my kids when they were younger and put it down because it seemed like a younger kid book. And then I was like, no, I think and I feel like now is a good time for that.
Yeah, it is. It's a good time. Anytime's a good time. But when they're a little bit older, they might get it.
Yes. You could read this when they were younger and then read it again when they're older.
Yeah.
And then have them read it by themselves when they're adults.
Yeah. Another one is Elizabeth Acevedo. Anything she writes, I will devour that.
Yep.
Nic Stone. I don't know if you've read any by Nic Stone, but she is another author who I will read anything she writes. And a lot of so those 5 authors I just gave you, they also write about LGBT. They have LGBTQ plus characters as well. So I think those are good authors to count on.
Okay, great.
What else do you have?
Awesome. I also have Angie Thomas.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I just have a couple of books that I wanted to just mention.
Yes.
For your 12-year-old. Well, I shouldn't say that. 12 or 15. I think I put this down for your 12-year-old, but gosh, I loved this as an adult. Children of Blood and Bone.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
By Tomi Adayemi. And then also, it's just such good. And then I think there's a second book that just came out in the series, which I haven't read yet.
Did you finish Children of the Blood and Bone? It's a long one.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of reading that to my 12-year-old.
Oh yeah.
And we're both into it. It's an action fantasy.
Yes. Yep. I'm kind of into that. So
yeah,
another one like that, and this might be more for your 12-year-old, is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. And I think it is actually about a 13-year-old maybe.
Okay.
And it kind of reminds me of Harry Potter a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the Black Flamingo, that's a great it's about a black boy in London who comes out. And he talks about how, it's the story of his life. I think he's a teenager when he tells the story, but it starts when he's 5, I think. And his life
is it true?
Yeah, no,
it's a true
no,
book?
it's not true.
No, okay.
I don't.
That has been on my list for a long time. I just haven't read it.
So good.
Okay.
Another book that I just read was called Slay by Brittney Morris. Just read this book. It's just so wonderful. Any teen would love this book. I just bought this book for my 16-year-old niece.
Good idea.
Read this book. And it's about a high school black high school girl who has transferred to a pretty much all white school, and she underground is doing this has created a video game.
Oh, that's right. You told us about this.
So
I think this was your LTW one.
It might have been an LTW. It's so great. And these are just these are just great stories. They're just great stories. This isn't like historical. I know that Amy, you asked about his history, but this is just it's not necessarily history, but this is just like.
No, I think she was saying she has read a lot of historical stuff, but she wants like real life stories.
Yes. Okay. So
this is perfect.
This is perfect.
Yep.
And this is our history right now. It's like present day history.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one I was just gonna mention is Ancestor Approved, which is just a bunch of short stories of Native Americans.
Oh yeah,
really
Ancestor Approved.
Ancestor Approved.
Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. I feel like you told me about this too. Maybe in our Patreon. I think you told the patrons
yes,
about this
Intertribal Stories for Kids, and it's by Cynthia Leitich Smith.
Yes.
Good. And they're great because those are short stories. You could read one, and then you could take a break from it for whenever. You could do one a week, or it's just you don't have to keep coming back to it. It's not something. So it's great, and I know. I think that would be great for any age. It's probably geared towards more your 12-year-old. But my 14-year-old listened right along with us this year and actually really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love this. I hope that helps everybody. And Amy, I hope that helps you too. So you'll have to let us know. All right, let's move on to our LTW.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Angela, what are you loving this week?
All right. I am loving The White Lotus on HBO.
Okay.
So this is it's a show. It's a mini, I don't know. It's 6 episodes.
Yes.
It's 6 episodes on HBO Max.
Yep.
It is so good. So it is about a few different groups of basically rich, mostly white people who go to this like luxury resort in Hawaii for the week. And it's about their relationships with the staff there.
Yeah.
And how they treat the staff who are, working at the hotel to make sure they have a good experience.
Yes.
Also, the staff is, a lot of times people of color or native to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about their interactions. And it is, it's a comedy drama.
Yeah. Dramedy. I think people have called it that,
dramedy.
Though, honestly. Yes.
It's a dramedy. Like I would say more drama, but because it has this also like murder component or death component that's like hooks you.
Okay.
So you like can't wait to keep watching. I watched it in like 3 days.
Nice.
So there's that. And then, but it's also like a commentary on our times, obviously.
Yes.
And like dumb things people do and say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really well done. It's also written, directed, produced, the whole thing by Mike White, who was a contestant on Survivor.
Oh my gosh.
And so I know him from Survivor. And
you're
like
a big Survivor fan.
So I'm a big Survivor fan.
Yeah.
So there are like, I see Survivor elements throughout the whole show, which I enjoyed as well.
Oh, that's so great.
So I think you would like it. It gave me vibes of Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Gave me Little Fires Everywhere vibes, which I loved that show too. It kind of has Succession vibes too, but not really. I don't know. Oh, it's just a really well done show.
Great.
I think you should watch it.
Okay.
Okay. How about you, Maren? What are you loving this week?
Okay, I'm loving a show too, and it is on. Is it on? I think it's on Apple TV Plus. Schmigadoon!
Oh yeah!
Exclamation point! Schmigadoon! Okay, so this is starring Keegan-Michael Key, Cecily Strong, and they're a couple. And the fire has burned out of their relationship. They're fizzled, and they're looking for something exciting. So they go on this like couples retreat, and during the retreat they go on a hike, and they end up in the woods, and they find this like fantasy place. Right? It's kind of like Brigadoon, the musical.
Okay,
this is what happens in the musical Brigadoon. They find this like magical place. Right? So they come upon this place, and they realize they're in a musical, and they're crabby about it. They're very crabby. They just want to get home, and they can't get out until they find true love, and they're confused because they love each other. So why can't they get out of this place? So anyway, hijinks ensue.
Yes, that sounds great. How many episodes is it?
Oh, that's a good question. It's, it's coming out every week now. So I think it's probably on episode 4 or something like that.
Oh,
something like that, 4 or 5. But it also includes Kristen Chenoweth, Alan Cummings, Jane Krakowski.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of stars, and it's so funny. I actually was not thinking it was going to be great. Kind of thought it was going to be cheesy, but I am a musical lover. I love musicals. And so if you know these musicals, especially the older ones, like Oklahoma, Music Man, Sound of Music, My Fair Lady, those movies or those musicals, if you've seen them especially, you will really think this is funny because they kind of poke fun at some stereotypical characters and some stereotypical songs that they always do in each of these musicals. And so It's really cutting and witty.
Yes.
And funny.
I love it.
So,
I'm going to have to give that a try.
Yeah.
I'm up for a new show now.
Okay, great.
All right. Before we go, we just wanted to remind you about the Back to School Summit.
Yes.
If you are interested in purchasing that, please go to homeschoolunrefined.com/summit. Remember, you get 3 audio conversations that will prepare you for going back to school. And they will set you up with everything you need from setting the stage, making your homeschool sustainable, and some resources as well. You also get the app guide and the curriculum guide along with it. So it's a great package deal.
Mm-hmm.
So go to homeschoolunrefined.com/summit, and we will see you in the fall for our fall season.
Thanks for listening.